afternoon, Tilly. No, you don't want to get out. You want to stay in there. That's where you want to be. You want to be in there, darling. In your pop. Good girl. Good girl. Hey, a good gog. So here we are. Sunday afternoon. It's very quiet Sunday. Well, it's always quiet here. Well, actually, it's not that quiet here because of the railway and the highway there. Well, I suppose it's a highway. The Henry Parkes Way. Anyway, we're just out for a little familiarisation ride, you know. I think it's a 2-bedroom house. Most of these old places are, you know. It's salvageable in the same way that mine is salvageable, I suppose. There's no toilet, stuff like that. You have to put in a septic, the same as I did. It's Cactus City, as you can see, and that'll start looking really, and that's prickly pear there, you don't want that, but these ones are slightly different. And in a week or two they'll be probably in full bloom, and really nice fruit flowers. Look like flowers, but apparently you can eat them. Now when I do that, fish tails, you know, like, I mean, they always will when you get the back wheel spinning, but it feels a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to have to look at that. I'm not going to get time to do any of this stuff before I go to Tottenham, which will be next Friday or Saturday. Need to talk to Gaz about that, actually. See when they're going and all that. There is forecast for some rain, which is a little bit disappointing, but it might not even eventuate, you know, depending on you know, just how things are in this area, you know. The rain might just dissipate. And the back wheel just, you know, so maybe there is something in the swing arm. I'll jack it up again, I suppose, have another look. You may be wondering why I never go down that road. It's because it's not far down there, it becomes as rough as guts. Virtually sort of like 4-wheel drive only sort of thing, and it's just not worth the trouble, really. It will eventually take you back over to the Yarrabandi road. Front brakes on this are good, particularly compared to the Harley. I got the Harley out this morning. And stop there, you're alright, just wait, mate. Just don't get so excited. I said, you're not going anywhere, mate. You're not fucking going anywhere, are you? Hey, we're not going anywhere, mate, are we? You're just going around the same old block, and she wants to go travelling. Well, she'll go travelling next weekend, aren't you? Yeah, Harley's. It's not one thing, it's another with that old girl. Tim used to alternate between calling her the old girl and the old bitch, and I can understand why. You know, it's got a massive oil leak, and so I sort of dragged it out and took it around the block and brought it back, and gave it a good wash, you know, with about 1.5 tins of degreaser to see if I can find. Then sort of ran it for a few minutes, and there's an oil leak, and it's literally dripping from the front cylinder head around there somewhere, around where the header mounts. I don't know anything about Evo engines or Harley engines really at all, you know, so I'm going to have a look at that and just see how I can pull the bloody rocker box off and whatnot. See how it goes. I was hoping it might be something simpler, like, you know, just things not tight enough or whatever, but I don't think it's that. And he, you know, and then I decided, you know, then I realised the back tyre's flat, so, you know, pumped that up just with the compressor I've got. You could hear the air escaping around the valve, you know, so it's either a new tube or a new valve required for that. It's not one thing or it's another, the poor old girl, you know. But we'll get it right eventually, I suppose. You know, having to replace a tyre tube and a valve is going to be a lot less than, you know, a new swing arm and all the other crap I've done with the thing. New brakes, the whole sort of thing. You know. This thing here, potentially, is going to be a really good outfit to travel around on. I know that. It's pretty comfortable, decent riding position. That sort of BMW K model type 4-cylinder sort of reliability and torque and reasonable power. Like, they got about 90 horsepower off the showroom floor, you know. 92, I think, or something. At that stage, BMW had this sort of policy that they didn't make bikes more than 100 horsepower. So when they bought the K1, that toffee apple looking thing, I shouldn't say that. They look like a toffee apple to me, but a bit like those Mike Harwood replicas. I think they had 100 horsepower. You know, nowadays everything's got 170, you know, but you know, this motor is capable of a lot more than 92 horsepower sort of thing, for sure. But it does the job, does what it needs to do, and that's the main thing. It's fast enough, you know. I mean, it'll go all right. It'll be a lot quicker than the Harley, maybe, in the respect that it'll just rev more and all that stuff. Anyway, we'll go around the block a bit again. And where are we? Which gear are we in now? There we are. Have we got headlights, have we? Been fiddling around with this switch here. Now the back end really wants to drift in a straight line. That doesn't necessarily actually mean there's the swing arm, does it? It could well be just that it's still all behind there, you know. But you know, it's got get up and go. The back wheel lets go pretty easy, considering it's got a car rim and, you know, car tyre on it. Front brake probably, for full effectiveness, would probably need ABS, really. I can feel it's got a, you know, it's going to lock up fairly easily on the dirt, at least, you know. Let's see, shall we? Yeah. So there's something about these K bikes, you know, they got good power delivery, you know, as much as anything else. Not huge horsepower by any, you know, by modern standards, but certainly, like, I think, like 92 horsepower in 1980, you know, 3 when they first came out. If you consider that, like, the Z900 when it first came out, they had I think 68 horsepower, and they were considered to be a monster of a thing, you know. And Honda 4, I don't know whether it would have had much more than 50. I can't remember actually, but they weren't any faster than a Bonneville or something, and a Trident would be quicker. You know, in those days. It's just that they got this reputation because of their knickknacks, you know, like 4 cylinders obviously is more than a knickknack, but the this was possibly a mistake. I only watched this the other day too. What a stupid idiot I am. Stupid cunt plunkett. Did you see how I did that as well? Am I looking at her, buddy? Oh no, it's just a wildflower. Yeah, the Honda 4 and the Z900, the thing they had was like instruments that were really nicely made, the nip and dento things and stuff, you know, compared to the old Smiths ones and stuff on British bikes. You know, you can sit there and watch your Speedo do this on a Triumph or an Orton, or a PSA, you know. Yeah, and electric start, you know, woohoo. You know, in 1968, 1969 with the Honda 4, those kind of things, you know, light clutch, light gear shift and those kind of things, you know, they made them a lot more everyday livable. You didn't have to really be an enthusiast at that point, which opened up the motorcycling market to different kinds of people. Some might say that's a good thing, and some might say it's a bad thing, you know, but gone were the days of you know, oily boots and trousers and smell of petrol from the old Amel carbies, whatever. A lot of people would say, well, I mean, it didn't take long for people riding Honda 4s and Z900s to look like bikies anyway. I guess because they traded, a lot of them had traded their Triumph in or whatever. These bees are in on a Honda 4, but they were still the same people, you know. It's kind of interesting how, well, somebody's been laying a patch there. Interesting how the way people, how bikers dress over the years, you know. Well, let's turn the choke off now, shall we? Well, it's not actually an enricher, it's just a throttle thing, you know. Let's have a look at this. See how we weaved? And that was trying to keep it in a straight line. Well, I backed off, as you can see, but you ever notice if you've got a gear indicator, you will watch it. Even though you know damn well you're in third gear because of the revs and the way the bike feels, you still end up looking just to make sure, you know. I'm going to go home. When I do go home, put this back in the shed. Tomorrow I will pull the fuel pump out again and resituate it. I gave the Harley, I said, a good wash and whatnot, and put her back in the shed for the moment and covered her up properly with bike cover and stuff, you know, to keep it a bit cleaner. It gets very dusty in that shed. It's a dusty old place out here. Be curious to see what old Penny Kid thinks of this when he rides it, you know. Just also curious to see how long it's going to take us to get to Tottenham. As I said, there's rain forecast. It may dissipate and just, you know, it was going to be, you know, 1 to 10 mils or something. Now it's sort of 0 to 5 or whatever. So to do something with that. Oof. But if it, you know, if it comes around to the weekend and it's just you know, pouring with rain, there's no point taking a dog camping in the rain. So we may not go, but quite often, you know, like if it says 0 to 5 mils, it's doubtful that it will actually rain, you know. Better do something with that mirror. It's my shirt collar making that flapping noise. I wonder how mirrors seem to we might go in and see James and Elise. Give them my phone number. Their dogs got out again the other day. Yeah, I want to give them my phone number so they can ring me if their dogs disappear and whatnot. It's a lovely afternoon, spring afternoon. Sort of low 20s, you know. It'll cool off again tonight. The nights are still going down to around 1 or 2 degrees. See if anyone's home, shall we? Doesn't really look like it, does it? you stop there, Tilly. No, it won't be long. Aussie farm, isn't it? Cars everywhere, but no one around. One of the Kelpie's in its cage because it's one that escapes and comes down towards my place, looking for trouble. Well, I'm guessing they're off out in the paddock somewhere. Some goats. Goats are hilarious animals, really, aren't they? They're either sort of trying to bloody headbutt you, or they faint, you know. So I'm guessing they're off out in the paddock somewhere doing a bit of work on a Sunday. You know, I don't suppose you really have weekends as farmers, do you? You know, you just sort of do the work when the work's got to be done. I wonder how much petrol we got. I've got to be missing something really simple with this bike, you know. And I say that, I mean, you know, obviously was, and then the previous owner were missing it as well. They didn't work it out. put this girl away and do a couple of chores and it's getting towards time to watch the footy. That reminds me, I've got to readjust this clock again. It's interesting, Tilly.